Living with a debilitating spine disorder isn't just about managing pain. It literally rewires your entire life. You wake up exhausted. Every single movement has to be calculated, and honestly, the physical reality of your condition dictates what you can and cannot do on any given day. So, what spinal conditions actually automatically qualify you for disability right here in Fresno, California? Let's get right into it.
Think about your typical day for a second. Say you're working in a Fresno warehouse or maybe a retail space. Can you actually stand on your feet for a full 8-hour shift without this agonizing pain shooting down your legs? Or maybe you're at home and you're struggling to just lift your grandchild because you're terrified your back is going to give out. Look, when these completely normal daily situations become impossible, you aren't just dealing with a little discomfort anymore. You're dealing with a disabling condition.
The actual impact goes way, way beyond just having a sore back. We're talking about really severe mobility issues, completely disrupted sleep from chronic pain, and suddenly having to depend on other people for simple household chores. When those physical limitations completely take over, holding down a full-time job, it's just no longer a reality. And that right there is exactly why securing Social Security disability benefits is absolutely vital for your financial survival.
Moving on to the government spine checklist and qualifying conditions. So, how does the government actually decide if you qualify? Well, the Social Security Administration has a very specific checklist for spine conditions. But don't worry, we're not going to get bogged down in dense legal jargon today. Instead, let's look at what these conditions actually mean for your everyday life.
Take herniated discs and spinal stenosis, for example. These aren't just fancy medical terms for a bad back. A herniated disc means you've got compressed nerves causing severe numbness. And spinal stenosis? That's a narrowing of the spinal canal that makes just walking incredibly difficult. When you pit those conditions against a standard 8-hour workday, the reality is pretty stark. Just sitting at a desk or walking around a workplace can literally feel completely impossible.
Then you have degenerative disc disease and osteoarthritis of the spine. Here, we're really looking at a massive loss of daily independence. It's the gradual, super painful breakdown of your spinal discs or dealing with severe joint stiffness. And it's simple, really. When your spine loses its flexibility, you lose your independence.
So the crucial point is how the government actually measures this loss of independence. They use something called Residual Functional Capacity, or RFC for short. Now, in plain English, this is basically just the government's method for measuring exactly how your pain stops you from doing everyday tasks, things like lifting, standing, or sitting. This RFC is the absolute linchpin of proving your disability claim. Because it's not just about what condition you have on paper. It's entirely about proving what that condition prevents you from doing in the real world.
But to prove your RFC, the Social Security Administration demands some pretty intense medical evidence. You're going to need way more than just a simple diagnosis scribbled on a notepad by your doctor to win your case. You need MRIs, highly detailed physician reports showing your actual functional limitations, and extensive records of physical therapy or pain management. The burden of proof is extremely high. And honestly, if you try to file a claim without this robust documentation, the government is likely just going to deny it right out of the gate.
But here is a number that changes absolutely everything. 50. If you've reached the age of 50, the disability rules suddenly shift entirely in your favor.
You see, the government actually recognizes that it's incredibly difficult for older workers suffering from severe spinal conditions to just go out and be retrained for sedentary, sit-down jobs. So if you're over 50 and you can no longer do the physically demanding work you used to do, you're actually much more likely to qualify for SSD benefits under their special guidelines. It's a huge game changer.
All right, let's talk about Peña and Bromberg, your trusted local guide right here in Fresno. Look, navigating all these rules, gathering that massive stack of medical evidence, and fighting government bureaucracy, it's completely overwhelming, especially when you're already suffering. You absolutely shouldn't do this alone. And that's exactly where Peña and Bromberg steps in. We're your premier local experts in Fresno, California, bringing years of dedicated expertise directly to the unique challenges we face here in the Central Valley.
When it comes down to winning your claim, the steps are pretty straightforward. You gather your medical evidence, submit the SSD application, consult with an attorney on our team, and prepare for appeals. But when you work with Peña and Bromberg, we provide that highly personalized support. We literally take the heavy burden of all that federal paperwork, those tight deadlines, and the complex appeals completely off your shoulders. We handle the whole shebang, so you can just focus on what actually matters, your health.
Just listen to what one of our clients, J.R. Gomez, experienced. Quote, "Very professional and helpful staff at Peña and Bromberg.
They were there always updating me about my case, and it paid off. I strongly recommend." End quote. We know exactly how to successfully navigate this system because, well, we do it every single day for the people of California.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought. You've worked hard your entire life, and a debilitating spine disorder absolutely shouldn't rob you of your financial security. So are you ready to take that first step toward the financial relief you actually deserve? With our years of specialized expertise in Social Security disability, we are totally ready to fight for you. Give Peña and Bromberg a call today at 559-439-9700 for a free consultation. Let's get your claim on the right track. You don't have to do this alone.